Good evening. Now, the music world has been paying tribute to one of the legends of the punk era, Joe Strummer from The Clash. The band's former frontman died of a suspected heart attack yesterday. He was 50. During the late 70s and 80s, Joe Strummer was one of the pioneers of punk. David Silito has been remembering the man and his music.
Whether it was London Calling or Rock the Casbah, Joe Strummer's music was all about passion, politics, and shaking up the 70s music scene.
Punk really came about because the progressive groups had come to the end of their idea and music had become very boring. That's really why punk came about. The TV and the radio in England at that time switched off at 11 p.m. at night, and also the bars. We were just sitting around after 11 o'clock. Punk was a reaction against a really dull scene.
But rather than the West London estates they sang about, Joe Strummer was born in Turkey, the son of a diplomat, and was educated at a Surrey boarding school. But few doubted his sincerity about either his music or his politics.
He was one of those rare characters which was a rock and roller who actually had a brain and was a thinker. And from society's point of view, they're quite movers and shakers.
The Clash split up in the early 80s, but Joe Strummer never stopped performing, and his politics stayed with him. This performance was just a few weeks ago, and it was a benefit concert for striking firefighters.
And I hope the nurses and the teachers and everyone like that comes with you, and let's get sensible, you know, and have a proper society.
And despite lucrative offers in recent years, The Clash never reformed.
Joe Strummer, as a singer and a frontman, what he meant and his principles and his songwriting, stands for everything that's sadly lacking in pop these days. So, you know, you're thinking, watching Top of the Pops and thinking, there's got to be more to life than this. There's a lot more to life and a lot more to music than that, and you could do worse than start by listening to The Clash.
Amongst the tributes today were Bono and Bob Geldof, who honoured an intelligent man for whom fame and money were always less important than his music and his politics.
Thoughts on the life of the musician Joe Strummer, who's died.